It's been a long time coming, but we are back, ladies, gents, and Pikachus. Back to the Wokipedia podcast. Can't remember which episode. I will update in post. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, there's plenty to talk about, and there's plenty to ignore, being as we've exhaustively talked about nothing but that for the last 2 weeks. I am, of course, talking about Israel-Palestine, so I should be doing my utmost and my best to avoid talking about that anymore. I mean, moving on to better things, and more interesting and more current things. We have something of a tradition crisis in this country, like an identity crisis, but it's on a base level. It's almost worse than having an identity crisis personally. It's like the things, the roots that created your personality for you, that's where the crisis is. It's below you, almost. It's the things that create you that are having the crisis. So that means it must be the parents. Sorry, Mum and Dad, to say it's your fault. I'm not pointing the finger and saying we should blame the older generation for the problems that we are now suffering. I'm saying that their lives and their actions and their behaviours have led us here. But past this point, it's our behaviours, the current generation, that's going to change things, that's going to have the most effect. But the fact is, we behave like our parents, whether we like to admit that or not. We got everything we know from them. We copied everything they did from a young age. We learned how to walk, how to talk, how to eat, everything. We do exactly what they do, but we just do it with our own kind of personal flavouring over the top. Nobody can argue. History repeats itself. Certainly in my family it does. I can remember when I was young, we weren't encouraged. We're not banned, but we were definitely not encouraged to see my dad's mum, my grandmother. We didn't like her. I never knew why until I was older. And then we all kind of figured out that it was bad and didn't do that. But then my older sister started ignoring my mum, which I thought was a little bit prophetic. And it's like, well, you've got 2 kids. How long do you think it is before they start to ignore you? So you see, there's a sub-problem in there you might not have picked up on. If each concurrent generation is doing the opposite of the last and ignoring all their advice, thinking that they're bad, then actually that is in itself defining the current scenario. And that is why we have the problems we have. So it's not like our parents have different problems to us. It's just we haven't solved them sufficiently. And I think rather than saying, oh, they're crap and we're going to ignore them, we're going to call them boomers, separating and segregating the generations off, what you're actually doing there is just driving everyone further away from the solution. I'm talking about things like a dropping birth rate, a dropping marriage rate, rights. There's more rights than there's ever been, but rights overlap now, so my rights can step over your rights and cancel out your rights, and then you don't have any rights. Or even worse than that, I can just change my identity and identify as a completely new creature, and then all the things that I previously did no longer apply, so anyone who had the right to criticise me no longer does. It's like the end of free speech, but it's done using free speech. It's like someone knotting you with your own arms and legs so that you can't move. But like I say, power's decentralised. You don't listen to the older generation, they don't listen to you, no one's listening to them, and the kids are seeing that and they're not going to listen to their parents. So it's like we're constantly pushing this cycle where we're all just ignorant fuckers that just ignore each other. And if we all got our heads together, then we would obviously be better off. And the thing is, the traditions that we've left behind, the Christian morality that seems a bit shat on left, right and centre, is tolerance and then forgiveness and family and respecting your mother and father and them to respect you as their child. So I think if we all did that and collected the generations together, parents, grandparents, children alike, sat down around a table calmly and just discussed things openly and honestly, with the way that the democracy has taught us to do, that we failed to do, if we did that, I feel like we'd have a far better chance of solving all of our current problems extremely quickly and without much effort, with certainly a lot less money and time that we've been wasting. And we can't rely on the institutions at the moment. The BBC, no, they're just propagandists. You absolutely can't trust a word they say. And it's the same with the Radio Times or the newspapers even. A lot of stories that get generated, the false news, gets pushed from pillar to post. So they all say the same thing. They're all parroting the narrative, and it's just leading us away from the truth and the solutions that we crave. And sadly, I can't even say that the democratic vote has been any more helpful. We've been hijacked when it comes to our democracy. How many of us voted for Brexit? But we still have the conversation going on today whether we should re-enter Europe. Imagine what that'll do to the country. It's almost like the referendum never happened. And that brings me to our conclusion, ladies, gents and Pikachus. We need to make records of all this, because guess what? In a few years' time there'll be a new generation. 10 years after that there'll be even more. But the data and the history and the records will not be there unless we make them, and we make effort to ensure that they're there for them to see. That's how we got here, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Generations have been accessing different historical data stores. We've been given a false one, and the older generation don't like it because they've got a different one. So we need to get back together, forgive each other, tolerate the fact that we did whatever it was we did, and we need to get right what actually happened in history. What do we know and what is wrong that we don't actually know, we just think we do. And then we can get to the solution for all these problems. The economy will start going up, people will start being nicer to each other, we won't mind having neighbours with different religions, and we certainly won't be itching to get involved in the latest Middle Eastern war just for the sake of virtue points or, signalling on social media. In fact, I would like to see a return to real social actions rather than digital social media. Well, for instance, I think of all of you. It's like, cool, you watch my videos and I react to your comments and stuff, but notice I've not asked one of you for any of your social medias. I don't want them. I don't want to know you on your social media because it's just an advert of you. I want to know you. And that comes out in your comment replies because it's you typing them. And if you make a video, it's going to be you. That's what made me start making these videos, for you. And me, I watch my own videos now that I'm not using Guy, the AI rubbish. Yeah, I never did link up with that software developer, so my game hasn't progressed. The design on paper is fucking great, I love it. I'm not going to tell anyone because I'll steal it, but if I find a developer, I've got a budget set up for it. And I don't any longer need a narrator, so that job opportunity is now gone forever. But I would like to see other people creating more videos. Like, I follow about a dozen different creators. Shout out to all you guys, you know who you are. Will appear in the comments, no doubt. And I watch all of their stuff. And I think it's great. It's all different stuff. Not all of it agrees with my music taste or my politics. Or it's not the games that I play. That's not the reason I watch it. It's the people behind the content, the root of the thing that I'm interested in, Like, it's one level below a person's personality when you get to know them, you get to know them. That's what I'm into, and I think that's what we all need to do. We're so divided in this country, there's so much doubt, we're all looking over our shoulders, and we're encouraged to be suspicious, but at the same time we're punished for our suspicions. So it promotes a lack of free speech, it promotes silence. And that's why families are hurting, and they're all arguing about what is effectively irrelevant foreign policy. So yeah, coming up to the end of this podcast now. I think I've said my bit. I hope you enjoyed that, and you think about what I've said. Like usual, it's just the same message that I'm giving out, and it's like the world has gone mad. Each individual has gone mad. It's not their own fault. Everything they do is their responsibility, but they're being driven by madness. So if you are smart, tolerant, and you're looking for the long term, you'll forgive these people for whatever they've done, and you'll keep forgiving them until they get it right. It's going to be painful, of course it is, but you're better than them, remember? No, I don't mean that. I mean, the value is better than human, that's what I mean. So if you have those values, you're going in the right direction. Anyway, so that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this and the background video of me slaughtering people in an old Grand Theft Auto game. Incidentally, this is the new version. This is the remaster that's heavily modded, as you can probably tell. So yeah, that's... the jury's out on whether this is actually a good game or not. The original's still better for me. But it was fun all the same, so hope you enjoyed watching that in the background, and I will see you next time. Bye now. Bye, bye, bye. Bye. Bye, bye. Well, I am going to go, but I'm going to leave this playing. I did actually steal this clip off a bloke called Ned. I'll put the link in the description, because my footage is just no good. My gameplay sucks. So yeah, enjoy that, and I will stop talking over it, and see you next time. Bye.
out in the mid-between. Yellow light, I gotta speed up. Get home to a cold shower. Need that pronto. Look like a rave at the condo. Heck of a night in Toronto. She said, boy, you in Morocco. Pearl white mention in the top gold. Fill up my cup with the pop bowl. High off life for the spot though. Running at the visa, really talking to a real life Mona Lisa. Jesus pieces hanging off the fleecer. So much going on, it's hard to focus on the features. I got too many, I'm going. Too crazy and I got bad ones and they ready. A good time, so now it's in the week we left at. Can't remember anything, but I know we got lit. Good times. Live in the moment, feel like summertime. Assassination out around mine. The room is spinning, but I feel fine. Oh my, oh my.
Once again, fair play, congratulations and thanks to the 4 people who got to the end of this video. I mean, it is pretty good, isn't it? I do like watching gameplay videos. It's a bit niche, but those of us who like it, well, it is good. So expect more of those, and I shall see you next time. Bye. Bye-bye.